Greetings humanity, and welcome to Channel Otherdock. I am Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is Alas for the Angry Void. This is a reskinning of Alas for the Awful Sea by Storybrewers Roleplaying to tell a gothic science fiction story set among the stars. We're going to go around and say hi to the folks we have with us again today. We will start with Hollow. Hello!
Hello, I'm Hollow. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be playing Jackson Mead, the confidant merchant, who also uses he, him pronouns.
Excellent. And now we will head over to Cleric. Hello.
Hello, I remembered to unmute this time. My name is Cleric of Court. I use she, her pronouns. I'm playing Fergus, the old sea dog, and the creature. He uses he, him pronouns. And he's not alone in the universe anymore.
I don't know. I mean, not the entire universe, I imagine.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. We'll see what happens. But that said, we're going to need to unpack that in a moment. But before we jump in, you may see us use safety tools from time to time. Like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll go back and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or put it behind a veil. So we won't go into... so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. And finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know that we're all okay and that we're good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think maybe that might have been a little too much, then everyone else can respond to that again with an X and N or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game may contain gothic themes like gloom, despair, intense emotions, macabre scenes, romance, and curses, along with references to violence, alien creatures, colonialism, crime, death, exploitation, family issues, separation from family, homesickness, loneliness, starvation, sudden decompression, the vacuum of space, and vengeance. And you can see those content warnings, assuming my bot is working, by typing !alas CW for content warning. There it is. That took a moment. The bot is, Phantom Bot is acting up a little bit. I use Phantom Bot, and so it's been acting a little weird lately. I may need to try to go in and do an update of some kind, which will involve much the digital equivalent of spelunking. So we'll have to see. But that said, finally, please remember we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It is just a game, and mental health is always more important. So, again, this is a mini session. We just have, it's just us here today. As once again, the juggernaut that is real life continues. But we've got stuff happening, and I'm gonna do a recap. And we'll talk about the stuff happening. Time is passing. Moments are slipping away. The inevitable end of the cosmos grows ever closer. Or at least perhaps just the end of humanity. The question now is, how soon will that happen? Some are of the opinion that it could happen in less than 4 days' time. But a group of crew and passengers of the CS Chimera are trying to prevent that from happening. Though they each have their own situations to deal with as well, The Daris religious scholar Irina Maynard has read up quite a bit on beings who may be gods or may just be powerful extra-dimensional life forms, and has discovered that certain fanatics within her religion may be right about some things, though their outreach methods leave much to be desired. Dr. Rust Worsley, the ship's surgeon, is dealing with a programmable alien virus, known as the Blight virus, that wasn't meant for him, but nevertheless is slowly trying to do him in. The assassin Levitt Teague has recently escaped from a group of mercenaries led by, as it turns out, their younger sister. It's complicated. And is speeding along in a shuttle with a smuggler and an eccentric doctor toward Mela Station, a small religious space station in orbit around the planet Discordia in the Tauran sector. The station is known for housing an abbey dedicated to Saint Caladrin, one of the saints of the Church of the Eternal Divinity, of which the order of monks running the abbey are a subsect. Caladrin also appears in the Darist religion, where they're known as Caladri, and it is believed that his body is held by the abbey's monks as a relic. This was also the destination of others from the Chimera, though their means of getting there has been unorthodox. They have passed through an ancient portal on a haunted moon guarded by a shadowy space dragon. Strangely, this is not hyperbole, though it may depend on one's definition of haunted. The portal sits in a chamber deep below Castle Haberlane, a building long thought by many to be abandoned, whose current keeper appears to be Signe Norman, a member of a galactic power group known as the Ascendancy. She is also a descendant of the Haberlanes, and she, in what looks to be a proud family tradition, serves the dragon in question, who is known as the Warden, and is one of the extra-dimensional entities I mentioned earlier. Other Haberlanes and their descendants, and servants, so about 24 or so people, are standing apparently frozen in time in the portal chamber, waiting for who knows what. The Warden has permitted the group from the Chimera to use the portal, which currently leads to a small chapel in Mela Station, one whose interior wall is covered with graffiti that shifts and changes over time. As it turns out, this is how the station's portal appears. Jackson Mead, merchant and purveyor of canned goods, has arrived on Mela Station and had his sales permit quickly established with a bit of help from Bennett Wilson, the station's gift shop owner, who is working with the Quantum Line Initiative, a group focused on bringing interstellar gate technology into use as an alternative to the more popular faster-than-light drives powered by argolite, a mineral with transdimensional properties. As Jackson was heading to a hotel to get a couple of hours of sleep, as he realized he did have the advantage of arriving here half a day sooner than expected, he ran briefly into Adira Basara, a geophysicist and another advocate of the Quantum Line Initiative, whom he'd met earlier, and whose arrival was apparently fast-tracked here. This is likely due to the fact that the QLI happens to have the backing of the Ascendancy. In fact, upon reflection, Jackson has noticed that the urgency with which the Ascendancy has helped him to get to this station is starting to prove a tad suspicious. Of course, there's also the thing that is apparently standing behind him, though it's been nothing Jackson has been able to perceive directly aside from the occasional feeling or whispered phrase. According to the Warden, it might be one of the prisoners in their charge reaching out to influence him, as one of these prisoners may be released into the universe in less than 4 days' time. This, of course, is a major reason why there's concern among the Chimera's group about the impending fate of the cosmos. Most acutely feeling that concern is Fergus, the ship's pilot, a perfectly normal human. Well, inasmuch as humanity has been his adopted species for the last 3 centuries or so. He is originally from the planet Val, a dark place with few resources. Fergus has arrived at Mela Station because the Warden has suggested that the Val are present there, and Fergus is seeking help in his endeavors. After searching around for a bit, Fergus has found one, a monk who works in a small temple tucked away in the corner of the station. He goes by Brother Cormac, and Fergus's first meeting with him has not gone very well. Cormac is very suspicious and is concerned Fergus might be working directly for the Warden. Fergus has been turned out of the temple with the admonishment that if he truly wishes to help the state of the cosmos, he should first understand more about who it is he's asking. So let us see what is happening as we are throwing things together. I have before we do anything specific, I'm going to show something to you two folks in Roll20. I did not prepare this, actually. I could have shown this to the audience, but alas, I was not thinking about that. Also, I hastily got this together minutes before we started. Basically finished getting it together. I know. Occasionally I'm not prepared. It's hard to say. So this is a map that you should hopefully, everyone should hopefully be in the, you two should hopefully be able to see, of Molestation. It is, I've been working on it off and on for the last couple of weeks. It's essentially, let me see if I can actually display this thing. Oh, hang on, I gotta do a thing here. Yes, no, bad. All right, anyway. I know. But, no worries. But, let me go ahead and get this, let me see if I can throw this thing up here. I'm going to try to show the audience the image of the map, because I would like to, because I feel as though I worked on this for a while. You've got so you got your basics here of the station. So the place where the temple is sort of down near the bottom left-hand side. It's very small, the writing there, where it just says temple, and that's by the kind of the kind of southwest docking bay. Let me see if you're having trouble getting the image to open over there. Let me. Yeah, I think I need to do a quick edit here on it too, so that try it now, or if need be, reload and try it again. Yay! Heck. Can you folks see the map in the handouts?
Roll20 just decided I did exist. So
Roll20 has been acting a little weird today too. It kicked me out before I jumped in today. So my suspicion is that I'll drop it in the Discord. Let me drop it in the Discord too. Yeah, my suspicion is that there's that thing happened with the security
somebody
system.
Sneezed. Yeah, where somebody sneezed at Microsoft.
Yeah, basically. But or the company that they hired, and so there may still be some glitches. But let me go ahead and
no worries. When you have time.
Yeah, there you go. That's the wrong one. I put it in the wrong. I put it in the wrong place. Let me put it in the right place. There we go. Good God. I'm not with us today.
It's one of those days, Jim. It's one of those days.
It is at least one, if not 12 of those days. Let me go ahead.
Yeah, valid.
I'm going to put this in the chat now, in the Discord chat, so you can see it either way. There it is. Here. Let's see, the map of Mela Station. Once again, folks can see it now. So yeah, basically what we're looking at is you can see the temple is sort of kind of to the left of Station Ops that you just came out of. The chapel that you both entered the station is in the sort of near the bottom right docking bay, near sort of the southeast quote unquote docking bay. I'm only using cardinal directions because that ends up being what my brain went to. I'm not entirely sure how one talks about direction on a space station. Hubwards, edgewards, I'm not sure. But in any case, that is so that's there. Jackson is currently in the habitation area, entering in a deep sleep, and we will discuss that in a little bit. But I want to see first, if I may, what Fergus is doing as a reaction to what has been happening, what just happened.
Fergus, he's kind of standing out in this hallway now, just outside of this chapel after being threatened by Brother Cormac. Not what he was expecting. He was hoping for something a little bit more, at least less snarly.
It did get a bit snarly.
It did. And he's kind of confused about the reception that he got and why he got it. He's told, well, you have to understand more about us if you want help. And, well, how do I do that? You're the first person I've met since I left the planet. First one from our home planet that I've met since I left. How am I supposed to do that? He feels kind of lost and disgruntled was a good word.
Yeah.
Kind of put out about this. So there's nothing he can do about it at the moment. Confrontation is not going to improve the situation in any way. So he's going to go back to wandering. I think he's going to go hit the main chapel on his way to go find some food and maybe a corner to curl up in.
Yeah.
And get some sleep. I mean, it has been a while for him, but I think he feels the need to just kind of, not so much the need for rest, but the need for quiet and contemplation, quiet and letting his things just kind of peace.
Yeah, understandable. So the main church, main chapel area, the big one, it's kind of modeled somewhat on a cathedral, somewhat on an abbey. It is as you will basically head up, you just sort of round the corner and head up through the hub. The forward section of the hub is kind of referred to as, it's made up to look kind of like the narthex of a cathedral, except it's not really, so no stone. It's sort of old-aged dark metal, sort of very metallic looking, more so than the other parts of the station, which have more sort of facades and things on them. But so it's made up to kind of look so that the impression one gets as one heads forward from the narthex area through the nave, which is just basically the north corridor. It's as though you're heading up. Kind of again, you have this big sort of vaulted ceiling. You have these benches that are more. They're kind of like pews. They're shorter. To either side. This in this hall that head up to sort of the apse, the main church containing the chancel and the apse, the area around the altar, and sort of there's some walled off areas in the back that folk will not completely that they can go back and forth. So it's not hugely ostentatious exactly, because there's a chamber, sort of at the back. So they're all doing this kind of, and I didn't really represent this on the map, but they're all doing this kind of in front of what looks like a kind of a sort of temple inside a temple, basically, where they're doing it in front of the entrance to the relic area. I need to make sure I've got my terms right here, actually, because I don't know if reliquary to my mind is a small box. What's a small box or shrine? So we'll say that the sort of the main shrine is at the very back. There's kind of an altar a little bit further ways in front where they do services. It's out of people's way. People can still go back and forth. I would say that the way they kind of handle it, they'll do daily services. They are, since the nearest population center to here is Metaxas, so they kind of sort of go on the Metaxan cycle as far as that goes. So services will be happening perhaps soon. You've got a few hours before it's day on Metaxas, daylight on Metaxas, and so it'd be like a morning thing. So that's when the bigger services happen, is sort of in the mornings, and then they have smaller ones sort of in the afternoon and the evenings for folks. So you will see in this area, you have in the main church, you have a number of the monks are preparing. Again, it's not hysterically ostentatious, but I mean it's.
Yeah, I've been to a few cathedrals before. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, there is a certain amount of dress up about the whole thing, basically.
Yeah.
And these passages to the left and right as you exit the nave are sort of kind of like transepts, although it's not exactly a cross, but it sort of is,
right?
Kind of. There's still a shadow of that original sort of cross. And I might at some point add more details to that part of the map, but we'll see. In any case, right now you just have, and again, this station doesn't have a huge number of people around, but you got, especially also right now when people are kind of still very early for folks. So you'll have like one or two folks in hanging out in the pews, and there are monks that are up and working around cleaning, just kind of getting things ready.
I mean, he felt a slight echo, just the quietest of echoes towards this direction.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of what's drawing him to this. So he's doing his best to move to not draw attention to himself. I mean, Fargus tries to not inhabit a lot of space, to blend in, and that's a survival thing that he's been doing since he left his home planet. So I think he's just kind of making his way towards the shrine within the main chapel. And I've actually seen places like that. It's really cool. They have these little, it's almost like a little hut. Well, it's definitely not a hut, but a smaller building within the main building. So I think he's kind of feeling a pull towards that. And again, I don't even think he's aware of it, but he is softly humming as he makes his way. Because he wants to peek in there. I don't know if they've got it roped off or if they're allowed to enter. If it's got like a little ultra rail that
Currently there's like a velvet rope right now in front of it. And so you're gonna end up getting into the orbit of one of the monks if you get that close. Yep. It's up to you if you want to. They don't look dangerous.
He just wants to peek in, see what he can see, and again, it's under his breath, the usual kind of song that he sings.
Okay.
It's very, very quiet. He's again not trying to draw attention to himself.
Yeah.
So he kind of approaches and to peek in.
I need to know if you are trying to reach into the beyond right now or not. You don't have to be. I just wanted to know.
Yeah, I think on some subconscious level he is.
Okay.
So yeah, let's go.
You know what that means.
Yeah, I know. Roll plus beyond. Here we go. Do I?
Okay.
Yeah, 7. So
you got a 7. Huh? Sense what's beyond. Fragments and mysteries. There is a I've got to do it. I'm gonna draw from this deck of cards.
Oh dear.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You ever have that feeling like I need to actually wait. I gotta check the before I just see. I need to see if I can use this prompt before I do anything. Let me pick another one. Oh, this will be helpful. So as you're sort of looking at the sort of front of this temple, the temple of Saint Caledron, you see there are words written across it in. Do we still have Latin?
Yes, it's like Sumerian.
You think it's just going to be around for a very long time?
Yeah.
We'll have something.
There's always that obscure scholar who specializes in it somewhere.
Yeah.
It never quite becomes a dead language.
Yeah. Let me see. Well, that being the case, Semper intro itum vae quaeremus.
Can you put that in, copy and paste that into chat for me?
I could.
Thank you.
And also my pronunciation is probably rusty. I have not taken Latin in a very long time. And I'm not even sure how that's going to get translated back, because. But
I have a grasp of it.
yeah, close enough.
Okay.
So that is what you see written there. I should probably make a note of that so that I will remember it later if things should happen again. So you see that, and you sort of have this moment when you're sort of drifting, and you can see this. It's like you're imagining a landscape where the ground is stone, and all around you, and various points on the horizon on the landscape are these giant statues, all in reclining poses, lying down, draped with massive stone cloaks. As this sort of, the sky is kind of a hazy orange, there's a sun up there somewhere. This planet, which is not one you have been to. It feels like some kind of a place, but it's like there's this strange sort of sense of drifting, and the idea that there is a call of sort of this kind of like almost a bell you hear sort of distantly behind you. And there's what looks like a very solid, sort of a rough, ugly gray concrete building that has barred windows that is slowly crumbling, and you can see it visibly. Cracks are starting to form in it. And it just continues to drift further and further away. The whole building seems to drift into the horizon. And you're not sure where this is all coming from that you're getting. You're not sure what it is exactly that you're getting all of this from, but you feel a hand very lightly brush your arm, your shoulder. And you look over and you see that it's one of the monks. Briefly. Can I help you with anything? It's hard to see into the chapel. That's the thing. It's like it's very dark in there right now.
So it's almost like two realities laying on top of each other for him.
For a second, and then you snap out of it when the monk speaks.
He looks at what I said. Is it possible to go in and spend time in contemplation within the shrine?
Oh my. Well, we don't have very long right now. I'm afraid we're getting ready for services.
I can come back
Afterwards. Yes,
later.
after the service, we'll have we'll be starting up the folks can come inside.
That'll be fine. Yeah. I can't do Fergus's voice right now. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. That'll be fine. Thank you.
He nods and smiles. Yeah, this is one of the standard monks, the brown robes, brown cassock, whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Basically.
Yep. Do you know Brother Cormac?
Oh, yes, he's and he'll say, oh, yes, he's the yes, he's the lead brother down over at the Temple of Nod.
Mm-hmm. Temple of Nod. Put that in the notes. How can I learn? If I wanted to learn more about your order, how would I do that?
Oh, well, we have classes, seminars. We have library.
Library. That sounds wonderful.
Oh yeah, no, that's maintaining knowledge is very important to us. Also, it helps to have material to read, variable and changing material to read when you're here for a very long time.
Yes.
It's at the south end, the southern apse of the station.
Thank you. You've been most helpful. I'll be back later after service. I think I need to spend some time in the library to understand more first.
Very good. And again, he'll anytime.
And so he'll turn and he'll make his way to the library. As he does, he sends 2 messages. First one is to Trinket to check in, make sure everything's going okay. And the second one is to Jackson to see if Jackson is still alive.
Ah, excellent. Well, the first message you're going to get a response to that is, I'm going to assume everything's okay. Jim is going to assume everything is okay for now. Barring actions of absent PCs later, but I think we're good.
Okay.
As for the message you send to Jackson, he's probably not going to get it immediately.
That's fine. It's just we'll be either in library, at shrine, or eating.
Okay, good. Yeah. So the library is at the south end in Station Ops. Is it in Station Ops? No, I'm sorry.
No,
I apologize.
It's to the visitor
east.
zone.
The monk did not say in the Southern Apps. I apologize.
No worries.
The monk said in the visitor's zone. I forgot where I put. I made this map an hour ago. Sorry, 2 hours ago. I finished this map 2 hours ago, I should say. The visitor's zone is on the eastern side, so that's actually where the merchants are, the recreational facilities for the station, the gym, the library. Is
okay.
There. And then I got sidetracked because the place they do the seminars and stuff is in Station Ops.
Okay.
Because that's where their chapter house is. That's basically so the visitor zone is where you'd go both to eat and to go to the library.
Okay. There'll be a PS to the message to Jackson. Have you heard from any of the others?
Ah, excellent. Okay. So that is the message that will be going. Do you literally ask, "Are you still alive?" in that message? By the way. Okay.
Yes.
Just checking.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll see how things go. We're going to shift over to Jackson now. As you are going over to that to the visitors zone. Jackson is in the land of Nod. I shouldn't say that. Not here. The land of Nod is different here. I need to ask you something as we enter an area of the. So sleep is kind of a series of. One has a series of dreams, and so this is more as we approach sort of near the beginning of a dream that you are going to remember. First off, tell me a little bit about Ta Gamma, if you would. That is your home planet, yes?
Yep. It is a very cramped world. It's sort of a failed arcology. There is not a lot of natural plant life, at least not like in the sense of like parks and like and natural reserves and stuff like that. It's more like, if you have the means, you can keep some plants in your home, or you might have a hydroponics setup, for more utilitarian purposes. But there isn't much in natural topography. Everything has been paved over to make the planet a world, or make the world to make the planet like habitable, much like a very cramped high-rise apartment.
Oh, nice. Okay.
The planet was built, not built, but the planet was colonized, and some developers decided, hey, why don't we just turn this into an arcology? Just like make the planet, from pole to pole, living space, industrial space. But that funding ran out. So while the excavation happened, there's not much to do. There aren't many opportunities unless you leave.
I see.
Yeah.
Is that so? I presume when you started your earlier business, did you leave the planet before doing that, or did you actually did the seeds of it happen there on Ta Gamma?
He managed to stow away on a ship and got off on in the first place he could.
Excellent. Okay. So, as we're delving into things that are showing up in dreams, your former business partner, was this your former business partner, Fyodor Locke? Now, when you were in business with them, what kind of area were you in when you did that?
That business was a very silly venture, involving trying to. So there's a lot of like bureaucracy that moves around from on planet to planet, and sometimes you have to be somewhere physically to get it done. And we had hired urchins to be line standers. Sort of like taking things off, taking a cut off the top. We paid the urchins, a pittance. We tried to take the money there, but Jackson had the idea, but he wasn't very good with the management of small children, or even adolescent children. So it was up to Peter to kind of like manage that aspect of it.
I see. Okay. Yeah. As we know, that happened. That worked out really well. But I think it's okay. So it's basically a question of like when you're saying you hired them as sort of line standers. Is basically there's just folks to sort of if someone, if you needed someone in a holding a place, basically, you would have the urchins would go around and they would be like, okay. Was this, just so I'll be clear, was this on Tagama or was this after you left Tagama?
So it was after I left Tagama. I met Piotr, after hopping off of the ship. And Jackson will never admit it, but Piotr kind of like sparked like, the desire to be in business for himself. But Jackson would never say that out loud. He was like, well, I'm my own person, and all ideas came from me, obviously.
Excellent. So there is, in this dream, in dreams, places and things and people sometimes change and merge, and just, as these things do. But so it's like, for a moment, you're sitting in a cafe, and you're watching and you're seeing at a slight distance Piotr talking to a group of children. And you see they're being, and they're kind of, doing this thing where they can be pretty charismatic with them, just basically as far as kind of getting their attention, being good, talking to them, that kind of thing, and just sort of as doing their Artful Dodger routine that they do, kind of. And so basically they're giving them, you see them giving them instructions. This is kind of a memory, but then you sort of see this thing where you see coming up behind him is someone wearing these ashen robes, and just kind of slowly putting a hand on his shoulder, and for whatever reason you can't seem to get up from the table as you see that they're reaching for them. And then it's like they just stand there, and this person in the ashen robes is just talking to them, and they're giving them their complete attention. And like the children are sort of scattering, just sort of running around, not paying attention to what they're supposed to be doing. A couple of them went to run to get in lines, but they're kind of things are getting chaotic, and they're kind of wandering off. And this cafe is starting to look more desolate. And someone sitting next to you at the table sets down a cup of something next to a small sort of little game board. And says, "That's unfortunate. They seemed so useful."
Yeah. Yes. Can't all be winners.
And it's a point where, like, sort of the wind starts blowing through, and this table is now in a sort of near sort of a place where there are like boulders and there's harsh winds blowing back and forth. And you're fine. That's kind of, but it looks like you're outside the arcology on Tagama, but you're not having any trouble breathing or anything. You're fine. You know, your coffee is still fine if you drink coffee. I don't know if you drink coffee or not.
He does.
The person sitting there says, "Things may get to a point where some folks just need to be culled, yes? They seem to have caused you a great deal of trouble."
I don't know about culling. I mean, there are some times when people are in the way.
Well, that is the problem often, is that when some are put out of the way, then they are left to their fates, and sometimes their fates come out well, and sometimes, well, they just simply end. It is their time. It's difficult to know sometimes when you can do such a thing, when you can control such a thing, which direction to lean in. But if they have to go, I feel as though you would have some rather strong suggestions as to who might be chosen.
Perhaps. Perhaps I would.
There is a time coming. And there's been the table has been kind of, it's not like the table has been rotating, but the person sitting next to you has, like, their seat has changed position a little bit, or is slowly changing position, where they're starting to come into your peripheral vision. You think you see like a hood, a dark, sort of a black hood. Some sort of like cloak type affair. They say, there's a time coming when if you help me out, I would appreciate your advice in that respect.
I'm always willing to offer some advice and lend an ear.
All you need do is advocate on my behalf when the time comes.
How will I know?
Oh, it will probably be very obvious, but they're letting one of us out soon, you see. I would prefer if it was I. And if you're at a point where they will listen to you, if you can get them to listen to you, if they choose me, then when the culling begins, you will have a say in the targets. What do you think?
Sounds equitable.
And it says, now before we go to a full-on agreement, I will tell you, in fairness, there will be another competing for my ear. He has his own merits, but you, I think, have more sense, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
In the place of transitions, when the time is nigh and the gate opens, and the one with the scales is listening, that will be the time. Does that sound reasonable to you?
That does sound reasonable.
A bony hand has been extended with an open palm.
All right. Jackson will reach out his hand and firmly shake the bony hand.
As you are grasping the hand, it is as though this individual for a split second is directly across the table from you. Now, it is a dream. It is uncertain whether or not you're actually doing anything binding, especially because of the moment you wake up. Because it's like, you did make contact, but also it's a dream, but also it's hard to say, but I'll tell you what you see in that split second before you wake up. You see a cloaked figure. One of their, and you see that they have a very, the face is kind of like a skull, but it's also, it's this blackened skull. It's like it's not entirely, you're not sure if that is it's not human. They're not human. But, and so the skull face might just be just how they look. One of their hands is extended and in yours. In their other hand, it's, their other hand is not holding their cup of tea. I think they were drinking, but which is in front of them. But their other hand is holding a scythe. with a smooth polished wooden handle and a almost a blade that's like somewhere between metal and stone. And you wake up. And yeah, you do have a text message if you decide you want to look at it.
This.
The message says, "Are you still alive?"
Yes.
And have you heard from the others?
No.
Let me see. It is a point where we will say that a couple of hours have passed at the time you get this message. So it's that thing where it's like a few minutes. It's like around 15 minutes before you set your alarm.
All right.
So it's that moment where you got to decide: do you want to try to get back to sleep, or do you want to get up?
I might as well get up.
All right. You are getting up. You're preparing. What are you planning to do, and where are you planning to head?
I should get set up. Then, once I'm set up, I should probably track down any leads I can find about the Ascendancy while I'm here. And and who else is acting on this planet? Who else has fingers in this pie?
Yeah.
And how are they connected to all of this?
All right. So you're going to start setting that up, and I'm gonna come back to you again in a moment. First, I just want to check out what's happening in the library. So I know, Fergus, you went to the library to you went to the visitor's zone to have a bite, and perhaps go to the library for a bit. If you decide you want to get some sleep at some point, that's on the other side. That's in habitation. But you have you're able to. They have in the visitor's zone. You've got the big gift shop, and then you've got a bunch of other shops and areas and stands and places where people are selling things. People are selling replicas of the station. People are selling things that they claim themselves are relics. There are people there. There are a few people there who are like just basically, they're beggars essentially that are there looking for spare change and what have you. Not a huge number of people again at this hour. It's still early, but it's a fair number. There are people still out. There are a couple of this station has one or two restaurants. The somewhat more the monks limit just how much space you have and how ostentatious you want to be. So it's there's one restaurant that's more of a permanent structure, and another restaurant that's just kind of more of like a mobile thing. And a lot of what they have is things involving sort of varieties of not really varieties even, but they've some simple sort of bread. It's fairly simple fare, a lot of it, depending, so breads, soups, things like that.
Fergus tends to avoid eating in public because his teeth can be hard to hide when he's eating.
Fair.
And he can be a little messy. He likes his meat pretty rare. So he kind of picks up like if there's like skewers of meats or something like that, something that can be wrapped up and he can put into a bag to take with him for later.
There's a thing where it's like the cart has kind of a has like wraps, and some of them are meat.
Yep.
And that kind of deal.
So he'll get a couple of those and just kind of get them wrapped up that he can tuck into a pouch or something to take with him for later.
Yeah, that's no problem.
And he will flip coins. He will drop coins. Any beggar out there gets at least one coin. So he just kind of drops coins.
They are very thankful, and they basically they universally probably will say bless you when you do that.
He understands starvation, so.
The library is one of the permanent structures. It's maintained by the monks, and so it is. It's one of the larger structures here in the visitors zone. It is accessible to all. There is a section of it that's private for the monks, but like on the top level. But there's only I think 3 levels to it probably, as far as this is height of the station. And again, like I said, this whole most places don't have multiple levels until you get into the the outer buildings and any of these things. Most of it's open. And they have a lot of their materials are digital, probably. They do have some books. So there's a monk behind the circulation desk.
So here's what I'd like to do. You tell me if we can make it happen.
Okay.
Fergus would like to again wander through this space and into as high as he can go as well. And he's humming. He's looking for something that's going to resonate. He's looking for something that pings his radar of the void or of the beyond. Because I have a move that allows me to handle or examine something interesting from the void. And so he's looking, he figures if he can find something that pings that sense of his, that's probably going to be better information than the mundane information that gets put out about the order. You tell me if that's possible or not.
Where's the move?
It's one of his.
Is it a creature move or is it a?
No, it's a character move.
Oh, old sea dog move. The sea speaks.
Yes. Yeah, I just renamed it. The Void Speaks.
Excellent. That's what it is. Whenever you handle or examine something interesting from... Okay, so you got to find an interesting thing first.
Right.
So there might be something like that in here. What method are you attempting to employ to find said thing? You're just looking around? You said going up high and you're looking around, or are you looking for resonance?
He's looking for resonance.
Now that
seems to be his way of speaking to the void.
So that, once again, is we're returning to the sense what's beyond well, and we'll see how this goes.
Fingers crossed. Yes.
Okay, you got an 11. You got an 11. You received visions and truths. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. All right. You're homing in on something, and so you're trying to. You got something from beyond. They've got something from beyond in this library.
Mm-hmm.
So the top floor of this library is private. But they might have some things on display in the second floor, possibly. Let's see what kind of thing it is. Okay, yeah, here we go. So you see this. There's a case.
Mm-hmm.
There's a display case up here. I'm kind of in the back. And you hear kind of, it's like, you know, beyond just the sounds of the station and the sounds that are made by the workings over at the church. They won't have rung the church bells yet, but there are always bells and gongs and what have you going off here. You will note there's this weird sort of chime you're hearing, this sort of vibration, and you look and you see that inside this case there's this green thing, this green ancient-looking device that it looks kind of like I'm trying to see if I can put this into proper words. It's almost like a speaker and a microphone together.
Okay.
As it were. But it's got this sort of rounded thing that looks like it's able to vibrate. It's not vibrating exactly, but it kind of noted your presence in a way, in as much as objects can. But sort of these green filaments through it, and so that it's like there's sort of this big sort of rounded sort of bell, almost like on a satellite dish a little bit. Sort of the rounded thing, and it's very sort of thin and has filaments running through it. And attached to that is in front of that is this thing on a stand that looks like kind of like the head of a microphone. There's a sort of a mesh to it. And this whole thing, it's green. It looks, if you didn't know any better, you'd say it was made of green marble.
Okay.
But this is an item that feels like it is not from... This is not from human space.
Yep. Okay. So, he kind of looks around to see how closely people in the library are being observed. If there's anybody watching him, or do they pay close attention, or do they just kind of stay at the desk and let people go about their business within the library?
Yeah, they're as long as you presume they have security systems of some kind, but they're not hovering.
Okay.
It's just you had the one monk down at the there's nobody in here really much right now, maybe one or two people. It's way early and it's a library, so people aren't that interested necessarily, sadly. But there are some people. There are people. It's a space station, so people are all on their own clocks anyway. But so you will see people from time to time. But up here, not a lot. There's maybe one other person up on this floor right now, and they're closer to the balcony.
He will unobtrusively move closer and place a hand on the case to get a better sense of the vibrations coming from the chime that he's sensing.
Mm-hmm.
and then he's going to hum a little more, but what he's humming is, what is your story?
What is your story?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm examining something interesting from the void because I can't pick it up. It's in the case, and he's not going to push that.
Yeah. That's. I mean, you can go ahead, smash the case, get it, see what'll happen.
No.
So yeah, just roll plus beyond. We'll see what happens when the void speaks.
I'll take a 9.
Okay.
Oh, quick question. Can I add my +1 that I've been pulling from when the warden, when he gave me all that information? I'm fine if you say no. I'm just curious if
Well,
I can
I'm trying to
add that
remember
it.
what he's. I'm trying to remember what he said, and I'm trying to think if it would
It's-
apply to this.
It's when he gave Fergus the 3 options.
Right. Yeah. I remember.
It's
I remember now. Let me see. This was on any move required to do so. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so that becomes a 10.
It does. Okay. So, that increases just enough. You can ask 3 questions instead of just 1.
Okay.
And so you can let me know what you would like to ask.
Who handled this last before me?
Okay.
Who made this? And what has been done recently with this or to this?
So, who handled this most recently?
Mhm.
The last before you. Okay. So as you send this vibration, and the vibration kind of comes back as you do your kind of, it's almost like psychometry, not exactly, but close.
Yeah.
And you get the impression that Brother Cormac was the one who put this in the case. A long time ago. This has not been touched for some time.
Excellent.
Now, let's see.
Who made this?
Who made this? I need to, I'm just looking here. There's a note I need to check. Okay. This was, here it is. These are the notes I was looking for. There's a, yeah. Here's the thing about how this was made that's kind of... This is, from what you can tell, just from what you're able to sense here, you get this feeling, it's like an echo almost of this, a feeling that's similar, but not quite like the Warden.
Okay.
The Warden didn't make this. But someone close to the Warden, or who was once close to the Warden, did. This was not made by human hands. And it was made... possibly thousands of years ago? It's made a long time ago. It could be even thousands of years ago, but certainly hundreds. And it was made with this, you get this impression of sorrow, and you get this impression of finality with it. It's very strange. It was made by someone who needed to reach out to end something.
Mhm.
And then they never did. And it's weird because this feels similar to that slight echo that you heard, that you found at first. Not the one at the Temple of Nod. The one possibly from the relic. This is connected to the relic.
Okay.
Hopefully that's not too vague.
No, it's not. I'm putting pieces together. What has been done recently with this or to this? Recent, clear, obviously being a relative term.
Recently?
Yeah. Cormac hiding stuff in plain sight.
Yeah. It is, it's funny. Because you realize that it doesn't look like it's doing anything, but it is doing something.
Okay.
It is establishing a kind of a counter resonance. It's trying to keep something quiet. It's trying to make something here either undetectable or uninteresting. It's... in and of itself, it's kind of a distraction. It's trying to, the thing that's been done with this is that it has been set to befuddle those who are trying to take advantage of something or someone here. But also, you think it does contain within it a story that it's not telling outright.
Okay.
Holding that as a secret to those who can unlock it.
Okay, excellent.
You don't know how long you've been staring at this thing, but you do get a text back from Jackson saying that in just responding yes and no.
Okay. He'll take a moment to, I think that kind of snaps him out of it. And he texts back, good to know. Good luck. We're probably going to need it. And because it's Fergus.
Yeah.
And then he puts it back in his thing. I think he's really drawn to see, he has some thinking to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think now is when he's going to head back to the shrine. So he's going to assume that services are over at this point or close to being ended.
You're hearing them start, actually.
Oh, I'm hearing them start? Oh, okay. Then he's going to go find a dark corner to eat in.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
You go off to do that then.
Yeah. Trinket eating a ham has nothing on Fergus eating.
I expect so. Yeah, so there is see, did I just checking to see if I grabbed any interesting sounds that involve that? No, I did not for this. That's okay, it's not a big deal. Yeah, so Jackson, as you are heading to go get your spot set up that's been set aside for you, and you pass by the to get your inventory. You're gonna hear services starting up. It's just basically it's this very light. They don't do the massive ostentatious pipe organ thing. There is music that is playing. And sort of as you pass by the hub, you can see all the way down to the through the nave down to the chancel, and you can see that folks are some folks who've been getting up. Their people are getting up and going and sitting in the pews, and there's the monks gathering around doing something. You see one of them is apparently wearing something else on top of the robe that might indicate that they're getting ready to do some kind of service. So that's probably the abbot that you can see from here. But
okay.
Yeah, your wares are in the lockers are kind of in the locker 16 is in the corridor leading up to the visitors zone. And I think that's when you get the message, the response again back from Fergus. Is there anything special you're doing as you're setting up?
He is setting up, but he's doing quite a bit of people watching. It's not like he doesn't do that often, but he's now looking specifically for, odd movements, gestures being passed between people.
Let me see. Yeah. This sounds to me like read a situation.
Okay.
So this is going to be rolling plus brains.
6.
Okay. So, let me see. It's only really been a couple of hours or so. I mean, we're getting there. 3, 4, maybe, almost. Maybe. We're almost there. We're almost there. Okay. Yeah. So, as you're people watching and you're trying to look to see if you see anyone from the Ascendancy, you don't see anybody from the Ascendancy as far as, there's no one wearing, the Ascendancy's colors walking around. You know that sort of as you're setting up to sell ham, you see there are a number of beggars sort of along this sort of row that's not terribly far from you. You can kind of see we're sort of looking hungrily as you're taking out the ham, but they're not going to approach. So you're going to see. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think as you're looking about, you're going to be interrupted a little bit by the fact that you've as you're doing this, because a couple of people will come up and they will buy ham from you, so that kind of interrupts your looking around. But then you will see just again. You're going to see Adira coming by. She's sort of wandering away from there. There are services going on right now. You can hear it as this is happening still. So it's there, and so she's wandering away from that as she doesn't seem terribly interested in the service, but is like, so she will she spots your stand that has been set up now, where you have your ham display, and she'll come up. You expect she probably slept as soon as she arrived on the station, so that's probably why when you saw her, she probably had just gotten up. And so as they're coming over, they look over and sort of smiling, and they're like, and sort of saying, "Mr. Mead, how's business this morning?"
Business is well. It's happening. I'm sure things will pick up in an hour or so.
I guess, yeah, probably. If there are more folks coming in, from sort of outside the sector, at least, probably. Last I saw on the news feed, there's still like a there's still like a travel ban from so we're probably not going to get anything from it. They're probably not going to get anyone out here from Ataxis for a little bit. From what I've seen, I'm probably gonna, but I was thinking just a little bit after the service, like an hour. I'm gonna wait an hour after the service, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the presentation. They're letting me use one of the rooms in the down in the chapter house. They're being very kind about that.
Oh, good.
So, yeah. So, then they've got like a couple of labs and stuff down there. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, hopefully some folks will come in. Have you had anybody ask about the oh crap? And she turns, looks to see they turn to look, and they see that they realize they have a quantum line pin, but they're looking in the wrong place, and they're like, oh right, yeah. Because for a second I hadn't put it on. Anybody ask about anything about the QLI or anything?
Not yet.
No. Okay. Hopefully soon. Yeah, I think it's gonna be really helpful for just a place like this to get a little more folks out, and yeah, but I don't know, and they're fiddling with their comm, and as they're looking at it, you're like, holy crap. You see their little images playing. Wow, okay. This must have been about an hour ago. I'm sorry. As they're kind of looking.
Is there an issue?
Some bad stuff went down on Metaxas, looks like. You want to see?
Sure.
Okay. They'll send it to your comm. They'll do the sci-fi wipe the thing, and it goes wherever you want. And you're seeing this. It looks like there was an announcement that there seems to be a sort of a press conference happening, or this isn't live because again there's space, but you see the subtitle says as to who's speaking. You see this older woman with graying hair, just very, very well dressed, standing at a podium, very richly dressed also a little bit, but in black. And this is you would recognize this person. This is Pearl Coleman, the CEO of Crown Mining.
I see.
And standing next to her is her daughter Bernice Shackley, who is the op manager. And you can see that it's a recording of the announcement. And the announcement goes something. The announcement, the kind of sort of a press conference. She was more just making an announcement. She was speaking. There's a series of people near the podium, and they're taking turns speaking. I shall tell you what they say if you like.
Absolutely.
It's a short address. People of Metaxas and all those seeking respite here, a terrible act has been committed. Dr. Coy Shackley, my husband, passed away last night as the result of an attack on his person. He was the kindest soul I had ever met, and one of the brightest lights in my existence. This shall not go unanswered. Our security force is making great progress with their investigation, and I am fully confident that we will know more about the true identities and location of the perpetrators very soon. It cuts over to the governor of Metaxas, Thaddeus McDaniel, who's got sort of heavy-browed individual, balding. And he is saying, normal traffic to and from the planet will resume when the preliminary investigation is complete and the spaceport has been declared safe from outside incursions. Even now, Crown Security is sweeping the sector in search for the CS Chimera and any other vessels that may have violated the travel ban. Everyone, please remain calm and continue to cooperate with Crown Security forces. Rest assured, the fundamentalists behind this terrible act will be brought to justice. It cuts over to a religious figure on Metaxas. This is Bishop Nicola Murphy of the Church of the Eternal Divinity, who is the Space C of E, basically, essentially. So she is a. Let me look at how I described. Yeah. So she's sort of just dark hair, and is wearing sort of she's not wearing a service vestment, but wearing just sort of the collar of office, essentially. And she's saying, "Now is a time that we need to lead our communities with understanding. We condemn this brutal act, but bear in mind, we don't fully yet know what happened. Our direst neighbors must be allowed to have peace right now, especially at times when events like this morning's visitation might tempt them to rash action. We must remember that the times of our greatest conflicts are in the past, and we must let them know that eternal love and forgiveness remains open to them. Pray for their souls. But pray with me now for Dr. Coy Shackley and his family, that they may find solace." And finally, there's just sort of a brief news bit where there is that this was followed by an announcement by their security chief, Elliot Lanyon, which they don't have. They have a still image of him. He's not at the press conference. Just sort of big, sort of wide, flat nose, kind of slick back, graying brown hair. And he says, "Attention. All employees of and volunteers for the Church of Dara, please report to the nearest Crown Security office immediately. Your statements will be taken. In addition, we are requesting that anyone with information about the commercial vessel, the Chimera, her pilot known as Fergus, her surgeon, Dr. Rust Worsley, and any of the rest of her crew or passengers, please come forward. At this time, they are wanted for violation of the travel ban, flight after questioning to avoid prosecution, and possible conspiracy to commit murder. Intelligence leading to their arrests will be rewarded. Again, please give your statement at your nearest security office. Those who fail to cooperate with Crown Security officers will be detained." And then it goes on to other things. But that is the feed from Metaxas.
Oh my. Well.
And she will. They will. The Adira will turn sort of as see sort of you're watching. They're kind of like they're watching bits of it, reading things as you're watching, and then kind of will look up. That's so sad. I met Shackley once briefly. A few years ago, he seemed like a nice guy. But who do you think could do that kind of thing?
No clue. It seems like they're looking towards the extremist factions for answers.
Oh God, freaking! I mean, I'm and they lower their voice as they're saying this. And they're like, I mean, I'm fine with people who find what works for them. As far as I don't begrudge people their religion necessarily, but that gets. It's things like that. It just goes too far. There's too much. There's too much freaking fundamentalism. Too many fundamentalists out right now. It's. I mean, it's like they're.
I don't disagree.
There was this. I mean, I remember hearing a while back stirrings of I don't know, these kind of memes have come up recently about kind of the old sort of wars between the Eternal Divinity folks and the Darists, like a long time ago, and then there are folks talking about bringing that back as like, it's just idiots, right? Just shouting into the void, but still, this is not going to make that any quieter,
No.
Damn. Well, think of day. Hopefully they're all gonna keep their heads here, but that's nuts. It's just nuts. Did you left later than me, right? Did you hear anything about anything? Was there any rumbling of anything like that?
I mean, there were a few people who were agitating about the ban, and they were certainly upset that some people were getting special treatment. So, honestly, anything could happen. Anything could have happened after that.
I don't know. Huh. And at this point, you hear it sounds like the service is ending and things are sort of starting to wind down. Adira's like, okay, I guess they're starting. I guess I gotta go set up. Good luck.
Thank you.
With this.
Thank you.
Let me know if you want to do like lunch or coffee or something later.
Sure. I'd be open to that.
Cool. And yeah, they just sort of like go shaking their head. And you will note, as all of this is going on, something that where you see one of the monks is at one of what looks like the security terminals. You haven't really seen any security guards of any kind here since you've been here. Or any kind of like, or any like police force or anything like that. But there are security terminals. So there's like, this place has a security system. But you kind of, one thing is your eyes sort of fall on sort of across the hall. One of the monks, and then just sort of like banging the side of the terminal for a second. Because something just sort of goes, like something of the weird screen goes a little weird for them. And they're like, and after a bit, things look normal for them and they turn away. And you sort of shake their head, and you see them turn and go to try to talk to someone. They catch up to another monk. Actually, that they see passing by. This is one of the brown-robed monks. So you see them running to catch up with one of the blue-black robed monks. As they turn around the hallway, and then your eyes fall back to the security terminal, and for just a brief second, you see something flashing red on it, and then it stops. And it continues to be a little glitch that you see from time to time as it just sort of for a moment.
Well, I send a quick communique to Fergus. You are very wanted. Keep your head low. He's not going to listen to me, but I did my due diligence. That's what this is about.
I can tell you exactly what Fergus's reply is to that, and it's always nice to feel wanted.
God damn it.
So, yeah, Fergus, you have gotten a little bit of sleep at this point. But, I presume Fergus is a light sleeper.
Yeah, I think it's almost more of a is it torpor state or torpor
Yeah.
state? Yeah, I think that's more of what sleep is for him. It's not a meditative state or like that. It's just like the body just, again, when you come from a planet like he did, you can't really sleep. That's not a recommended. So you just kind of slow all those processes down.
Yeah.
So
Is he dead?
yeah, yeah. He's learned to find places so that doesn't happen.
So when you wake up to this communique that you were very much wanted, as you found, did you go to like the hostel or something? Did you?
Yeah, I think it would if there's not a lot of people around.
Not too many, no.
Yeah. Then he would have gone to the hostel, gotten the cheapest room that he could get as a single for just himself, so he doesn't have to share a room. And yeah, I think he only gets it for like a couple of hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's kind of sparse. It's bedding place on a space station, and the cheapest you can find is going to be kind of like those those hotels where you go in and it's like it's just a little cube and it's the bed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's it. It's almost like sleeping in a drawer, basically.
Yeah.
But but you got one to yourself, so you have a little thing you can pull down, so that the little wall you can pull down, so that it's just you. But yeah, so you wake up from that and you see that you're wanted. And you've said it's nice to be wanted. Do you wish to respond to this or in some way? Do you want to do something or?
I mean, he's already aware that the powers that be on the Taxis are looking for him. That ship has, for pardon the expression, long sailed.
Yes.
So it's that the news has now reached Bella Station. Again, not surprising, given the powers that are on Metaxas. He is trusting that Signy and whatever connections that she has, and the tower, or whatever's on the moon, is shielding and protecting the Chimera and those that are on it right now.
Uh-huh. You got that sense. You did get that sense that that the warden was doing something to shield the
So he's
the moon
not
activity.
Yeah, he's not worried about that. If Crown representatives show up looking for Fergus on Mela Station, it's going to take them a little bit of time to get here. So he knows he's got some time here. That's white noise right now.
Yeah.
He's not concerned about it, and his flippant answer that he had sent back to Jackson is kind of a way of signaling his mood and his concern or lack thereof about what's going on. In other words, I'm not stressing this, don't stress this kind of thing, without actually coming out with that. Hoping that Jackson can kind of read between the lines in what he said. But yeah, now that he's awake, he's gonna head back. He's gonna realize that the service is over, and it's time to go to the shrine.
Okay. Yes, that's right. You're gonna go up to the shrine of the main church. Okay. You're heading up to do that. I will say, Jackson, you've got more business. People are coming out and they're buying ham. Is there anything in particular you're trying to do while this is going on?
Yeah. Why? If there's a lull, I need to go see this screen because it's gonna bother me until I go look at it.
Okay. So, I realize I keep saying things like this, but this is how we read the tea leaves and see what's happening. I'm going to ask you to read a situation again.
Okay.
We roll plus the brains. Nine. Okay. So you're going to get 2 of these questions, and you will get to when you do moves to act on them, you get +1. And again, here are the questions.
Who are you said I get to ask 2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Who or what is most vulnerable to me, and what should I be on the lookout for?
Okay. So, I'm gonna kind of answer these questions in reverse order.
Sure.
As far as what you should be on the lookout for, as you look at the terminal, and you're sort of figuring out, like, as you know, no one's really looking. There's a lull. You're sort of going over. You're looking, and it's like there's something interfering with the terminal. And it looks like, from what you can tell, there are it's something. There's something odd about it, because it's almost like the terminal is trying to hide that there is something wrong, which is the opposite of what a security terminal is supposed to do. Something is interfering with the station's security system. So you should probably be on the lookout for someone trying to take advantage of that. And you know, for there's a saboteur or something. Basically, something is causing that to happen. Even though you haven't seen anyone unusual at this point, and you've been looking for them. At least not at this point. The thing, though, is that what's going to be most vulnerable to you is the fact that well, first off, you know about this. So if you wanted, you could try to figure it out, try to find out what's going on. So that's the thing that you would have over anyone else who no one else. You're not sure how aware the monks are of what's going on with it. You presumed from when you saw that monk walking away that he was asking that other monk about something related to that. Which is a little weird, because from what you could tell, the blue-robed monks are kind of more like just a much smaller group on this station.
Okay.
But you know, they appear to be subservient to the brown-robed monks. But then also, just the thing in general about this place is that quite a few of the people who are here are often easily led, it seems, because they're looking for answers. So,
yeah,
if need be, you'll be able to spin stories. So that's definitely a vulnerability. But yeah, the security system right now is it's like you're not. I mean, yeah, these are monks, but at the same time, it's like you're not sure you should even be able to see what you're seeing now. So there's something messed up, and there are holes in the security right now that should not be there.
Gotcha.
What would you like to do?
Well, I say something in passing to anyone, just a random person. That I think the Crown Security is trying to undermine the faith of good-hearted Darists. And I say that just to anyone in passing. And maybe I'm trying to manipulate another because I want that to just kind of spread. Trying to just stay, like, people are looking for answers. They're looking towards the Darist faith. Give people a sense of protection.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't report things as
one thing
as well. Yeah.
One thing I do want to point out, this station is not Darist. This station is the Eternal Divinity.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
I just say that I think they are trying to undermine people of faith.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yes. So, I would say, yeah, definitely this would be manipulate another, so we can see kind of if this ripples in the way you would like it to. This is a roll plus beauty. Interesting. Okay. So, I presume your intention was to make them just sort of be on the lookout for any sort of interference from Crown Security, that kind of thing, right?
Yep.
People showing up from Crown Security, so they give them a hard time if they show up. So, the good news is this: the result of this roll will, in attempting to manipulate a crowd, will not start a riot right now. But it's interesting. I think that though your message does get across, and I think that let's see. Yes, basically you're just saying that they're trying to undermine. They're saying they're trying to undermine people of faith. And I think, yeah. I think that one of the I mean, so you do that, and as you're continuing to back and forth, sell ham, what have you, and I think that at some point you look up and one of the monks in bluish black robes is just sort of kind of unobtrusively, but has stationed himself and is kind of watching you. He's not interfering with anything. But appears to be from across the way, is just sort of keeping an eye on you.
All right.
In a moment, I'm going to probably shift back over to Fergus, but is there anything else you'd like to do before we go there?
No, I'm just going to watch the monk who's watching me.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Now he's probably not going to approach or anything unless you approach him. He's gonna, for the time being anyway, he's just trying to get a sense of things, I think, from what you can tell. Yeah. Okay. So, we take you now to the shrine of St. Caledron. There is a little bit of a line to go in, because people who were at the service obviously were closer. And so you have to get in line and wait for your turn.
Mm-hmm.
They want everyone to be able to go into the shrine on their own and have their own experience. You know, couples can go in together, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not like it's, they're not being totalitarian about this or anything. But the time eventually comes that it's your turn, and the monk who helped you earlier, or who spoke to you earlier, is there and sort of nods and shows you into the shrine. There is it's a big slab that you see. It looks like a marble slab in the middle of the room. There is you have like the sort of, there are candles lit in here, incense. Everything in here is natural lighting. And but the walls, for whatever reason, seem to shield noise from the outside. So it's very calm and quiet in here as you are there. And I think that
Is it like an isolation chamber or baffled room, like a sound booth or something like that?
Kind of,
or is it or can you is there at least that normal kind of echo that comes from being in a room?
There's a little bit.
Or does it feel dead?
It feels like there's almost an echo of being in a room, but it's not completely. So it's not like they haven't completely made this place soundproof.
Okay.
But you don't hear the bells or anything anymore from outside, so it's pretty good. You do hear sort of the very distantly, you can kind of sense there's still people out there. There's still stuff going on out there. But it's pretty isolated and quiet. And you have this This big sort of slab larget with this looks like a tomb.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big block. And
Does it look like people have been touching this? Does it have like those worn places, that statues and
a little bit, yeah.
where people, just over many years have been worn it away by touching?
A little bit, yeah. There is some of that. Most of it is on one side. There is a. You think there's a system in place to help preserve this, so it's not. Kind of like a higher order of the kind of technology that that Percival uses.
Yeah.
But it's like there are places where it's like you can touch it and that type of thing. They want people to be able to do that if they want to.
Okay, good. That means Fergus doesn't have to look for permission. So yeah, he stills himself and he's listening.
Just you and the relic.
He's listening for any soft echo of a song. And he reaches out to place a hand on it to see if he can sense vibrations. And when he touches it, he sings his song of introduction.
Okay. You know what comes next.
Yes. Here we go. Wait. Is this the void speaks or sense what's beyond?
Wait. You could do the void speaks on this. You probably will get more out of sense what's beyond. I'll just say.
Yeah. Okay.
Although, I mean, well, no, wait. I'm looking at the questions again, and you could do either one. You could do either one for this, because you're going to get different kinds of information depending on which one you go with. Because I'm realizing, actually, no, there's stuff there. Yeah. It depends on what we want to do and where we're going with it.
I think he wants I want to do the void speaks.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Roll plus beyond.
Yes.
Beyond 11, you get 3 questions. You get 3 questions about the relic.
Who made this?
Oh, we're going to start with an easy one, are we? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Who made this? What words have been said recently near this? And if you'll allow, instead of words, it's his words, songs, his song. Move it to that. Because he knows that the pilgrims have all probably been muttering prayers and
yeah. There's been plenty of that
kind of thing. So yes, he wants to know in what's been said near this in his language. And wow, what has been done recently with this or to this?
Okay. Who made this? You get this interesting, it's fascinating being this close and inside this chamber, inside this shrine. It's interesting what you're getting here. Because what you're kind of sensing, what you're feeling is there is something inside. So this isn't just for show, this slab. There is something inside. About the size of it's bigger than a human body. And the resonance you get back from this chamber, you also sense this chamber, this chamber. I'm calling it a chamber.
Yeah.
Because it is. It's a thing that contains a body. But you get the feeling that it was created by the individual inside it.
Okay. Can I ask a follow-up question on that? Does it feel like the artifact that he, the same feeling of who created this from the artifact in the library?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's
Being inside is not human. I think I should probably mention that.
Yeah.
But, you
yeah.
know this.
Kind of yeah, I think Fergus has put that together.
Yeah. So that's
But
the
it's
first
not one
question.
of his kind either.
No. No, it is not. This is not a vow. Not one of the vow. Your next question was...
What words
what
in his
words have
language?
been... yeah. You're tapping in. There is... You realize... a regular stream of such of song that comes in. Someone from regularly comes into this chamber. Regularly means a number of things. Not daily. But on a regular basis will come in here and sing to it. And what you get the sense that this song is a lullaby.
Okay. If anybody was in the room with Fergus at that time, they would just see his eyebrows go way up, these big bushy eyebrows practically disappear under the wool cap that he wears. And then they lower, and he's just kind of, there's just the slightest tremble in the fingers that remain touching the slab as he probes for his third question, the answer to his third. Oh, does the song sound like Brother Cormac?
It does.
Okay. I had a feeling.
What has been done recently with this or to this? It's funny how good a question this is. As I'm realizing that and I'm thinking about that. So, this place, this space station, is only supposed to look like a church. It's not a church. It's a space station. It's made of metal and polymers. Space things. Anyway, but there are systems. You know, you figured this out. You've known this, however many times maybe you've been here before. But there are even, it's a thing that you sense, human-made stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That they don't leave this they want you to be alone with the relic. But there are measures in place. There are devices designed to keep the slab closed There's a field designed to keep the slab closed. There's a field designed, again, to keep it clean. There's a field emitting generators designed underneath this thing, or there should be underneath this thing. You're realizing, yes, to protect it. There's probably some kind of alarm system. There's probably some kind of, from what you're sensing even about this room, there are things that probably, mechanisms, hidden mechanisms, all of this very intricately hidden. The security measures in here to keep, maybe like a wall is, you look up, you see there's a wall that comes down that can seal this place off. And there are even, access, you think maybe there are access panels in the back to try to, they're concealed, but to, for when one of the monks probably comes in and does, stuff with the system.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned this because none of that stuff is working.
Right. Nothing working. As soon as he realizes that, he starts to sing the lullaby. He's heard the echo of Brother Cormac singing it, so he will sing the lullaby. He's not sure if what he's been doing might disturb it, knowing that now that he knows that the protections are off of it. So he sings the lullaby,
mm-hmm.
and then he carefully steps away. And as soon as he's out of there, he goes to the monk and says,
"Before you leave the shrine,
oh no,
I would like to ask you to manipulate another."
He's not a beautiful human, not a beautiful person. All right. I have a -1 to this, y'all. This is not going to go well. Oh, okay.
You want them to remain asleep.
Yes.
A 7 to 9. They change the terms to suit themselves or demand concrete assurance first, which in this occasion is going to be a little different. You've noted quite quickly finding yourself back in that stony landscape. That's that landscape you saw before. That I mentioned, the giant statues all lying down on some planet or other that you have never been to. There is what looks like that slab and still in front of you. The slab in the shrine. Beyond it is a stone chair up on a dais. There is a figure sitting in it that you can't quite make out, but They must be quite tall. And you hear, surely it's time soon. It must be. Has to be. Why should I wait? Why should I wait? We may reach a point of no return soon. I must help. I loathe it, but it is my duty to help. Why should I wait? How long do you think you can hold me like this? Answer, please.
It is not yet time. But perhaps soon. If you are willing to help prevent the end.
Cannot keep me from them. I will see them again. I must.
Who?
You ask who? You are not who you pretend.
No, I'm not.
You sing another's song. My love is in another place. You must let me out, you must. I must see them again. I must.
I don't know how. Let me speak with the other one who sings.
You can sing the chamber open, surely. You must know, you must understand.
No, I don't. I only wish to protect those I love.
As do I. I wish to see them freed. If you do not promise me I can see them, I will find every means to escape this place. Escape these bonds the other one placed me under. Can
I cannot
you
make that
promise me
right
that?
now. I cannot at this time. I need to learn more. Give me time to learn more. A day, 2.
Time on this side is so limited.
Keep hearing that.
1 day. And you are pushed out of the dream.
Okay. He kind of stumbles back as if he's been pushed physically. And he kind of catches himself, steps out of the shrine. Almost, he doesn't quite grab the nearest monk, but it's a close thing. He gets right up in the monk and he goes, "Take me to Brother Cormac now. It is of life and death." Now.
Come.
I'm willing to intimidate.
Well, I'm trying to decide if they're even gonna resist.
Okay.
I don't think they will.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not going to. He'll nod. He'll like, oh dear. Let's see if we can find him. Come with me. And the monk takes you to try to see if they can locate Brother Cormac. And I think if we are good with it, that is where we're going to leave off for the evening. All right. Okay.
It's fine. It'll be fine. This happens all the time, I'm sure.
Sure, it's fine. I'm trying to think if there was anything. I'm just trying to make is if there was anything else. For Jackson, was there anything else we needed to take care of before we dive off? What do you think? You're muted.
He's just sitting and watching. Things will pop off soon, I'm sure. It's going to be great.
Everything will be fine. It'll be fine. All right. And I don't know if folks can hear that, but I've got there's storming in the background, so that's probably.
I had to check and make sure it wasn't like.
Thank you all very much for those of you out watching or watching it now or on YouTube later. Thank you, and thank the two of you very much for playing today. I very much appreciate it. I am enjoying these mini sessions. I like when we have everybody, but it's also nice to be able to do deep dives, I find. Because we get to find out so much more, and it delights me. We're going to go ahead and do our outros. Feel free to tell folks where they can find you and give any final thoughts you may have for this session. And we will start with Cleric.
Hello, I'm Cleric of the Cord. You can find me lurking at Blue Sky and a bunch of other different Discord servers all over Discord. This is pretty much what I have going on right now. You can find me every Sunday right here, right now. As Vargas tries to... He's a simple man. He's in so far over his head, it's not even funny. Simple man. Yeah,
He's perfectly normal human.
Yeah. It'll be fine. So Fergus, by the way, has been deliberately avoiding meeting up with Jackson. Especially after his interaction with Brother Cormac. He doesn't want to bring any of this to Jackson. He doesn't want to pull Jackson into this. Jackson's got his own shit going on. That's why his answers have all been kind of short and flippant. And he's deliberately not sought him out. So that if, in case anybody's wondering, or if you were wondering, that's why he hasn't gone to meet up with Jackson in any way, or suggest that they meet up. Other than that, I hope you all are having a great rest of your weekend, and that next week treats you kindly. Treat yourself kindly.
Yes.
Be gentle to yourselves. Hydrate. Rest. Now's the time to spoil yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
And be kind to others too.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Very good. Very good. And we will head over to Hollow.
Hey, I'm Hollow. You can find me on Blue Sky and Twitter at Hollow Invective. Jackson has been getting very cagey because, he was very eager to get involved in something a bit bigger than himself because he believes he should be there. He should be doing something. But, however, at current, maybe that's not the best plan, and maybe he doesn't want to be involved. And he's also mad about the cosmic forces that aren't really controlling his life, but he sees it that way.
You could have turned that offer down if you had wanted.
Is Jackson really freaked out about learning that there are actually things out there that are bigger than he is?
No, it's more like Jackson has always been a sensitive kid in terms of the beyond, and he has tried his best to ignore that.
Okay. Cool. Good to know.
He's been sensitive to the beyond all his life, and it's like, no, this has nothing to do with me. It's not helping me in my terrible world where everything's awful. Like,
I got it. That's I like that insight. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Jackson. I have an upcoming project with Jim on this channel soon. We'll stay tuned for details. I know that there's a sign-up form for said project.
Indeed, there is.
In places that Jim has put it.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, then that leaves me. Who am I? I don't know who I am right now. It's all very strange and confusing. But for the time being, we'll say that I'm Jim Ryan. I am Otherdoc on Twitch and YouTube and most social media platforms. Where I'm not Otherdoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things. This coming week, not a huge amount planned. This Thursday, if Lucci is available, we may play some more Deadline. So feel free to tune into that Thursday afternoon if you would like to watch us try to bash our heads against the wall trying to figure out an old text adventure game. And then, of course, on Sundays, we have more of this. And as you can see, things are happening. So, interesting. Very interesting point we're at with this. Because there's... you actually are looking and seeing things that I didn't expect folks to look at and see, actually. So, it's going to be interesting to see where things go from this point. But... coming up, we do have signups that are open now for, as we can officially announce, for the 9 Fox Gambit RPG that Hollow is going to be running. We're going to be doing a campaign, hopefully starting in mid to late August. It's another space opera, slightly more military bent, but also involves holding consensus, being able to shape layers of reality that allow your technology to work, all as part of a struggle of life under an oppressive imperial regime. So it's a very deep, interesting, complicated world, but not overly complicated, I don't think. And no experience with the setting is necessary. It is based on a series of books that I encourage folks to check out. But no experience necessary. Beginners are welcome. If you're interested in that and checking out the sign-up form, you can go to JimYesThatJim.com and click on Game Sign Up. Or if you're watching, if you're here on Twitch, go down below to RPG Sign Up and click on that. Again, beginners are welcome. So, when we hit the end card, we're probably going to go and say hi to somebody, as there are a few folks streaming right now. Like Live from the Apocalypse, Tabletop Notch. There are a few folks that are doing stuff. We'll probably go and say hi to one of them. Feel free to hang on if you're so inclined and say hi to them with us. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.